Hello, Yuli here from Like Your Life. In this video, I'm going to talk about the phases and stages one can go through in life. And I really notice this for myself. I really notice this with clients. And the key areas, not saying that everyone goes through this or it's just one phase only and distinct blocks or phases. I've identified 4 areas, and we can cycle through these phases or areas of life quite quickly. Can you hear me? Yeah. And so it's like, what are we experiencing? So what was the person experiencing? So the 4 areas I've noticed are they're in survival mode and they require wellness. They're in the transitional mode and they would like more self-awareness and empowerment, or in that thriving mode, and so they're really up for conscious creation and consciously creating their life. And the 4th one I notice is in story. People are knee deep in the story, but you can be in story and require wellness, in story and have self-awareness, etc., etc. I'll break them down. So the first area, what I call the person's experience like survival mode, or they require first aid. So notice my clients come to me and there's a range of that in terms of they require what I call first aid. They require wellness. So they're experiencing the aches and pains in their body. They may have emotional, mental, or physical stress, or they may be experiencing sadness or grief. Anxiety is a common one. Trauma, with all experience of trauma in some level. It doesn't have to be physical trauma, it could be psychological, emotional trauma. Feeling overwhelmed and feeling triggered. And again, like I said, we can cycle through this. It could be like a long phase in terms of like, it could be weeks, months, years of experiences, or it could be like a moment in a day where we experience this kind of like, oh, I really need some respite. I need a respite. I need nurturing. So what they're looking for is a sense of wellness, inner peace, that relaxation and me time. Do they just require more ease in life? They're feeling nurtured. They just want relief from the aches and pains. And they just would like, they're in that kind of like, I just need nurturing. I just need someone to look after me. So there's those people, and I go through that. I still go through that where I just kind of like, I'm tired. I just want some nurturing. I would like to receive some healing. So there's that phase, and you probably notice this with your clients or with your friends and family and yourself, just to kind of acknowledge that. I think that the key point of this video is just to acknowledge, where is this person at? Because there's no point telling the person who just requires first aid, like, oh, you should be aware of what your what your triggers are and self-reflection, because they're just not in that mode of talking through stuff or taking ownership perhaps, or I just want to receive some help. So the other phase or area that I noticed within myself and the clients is this transitional phase, and they're looking for like a little bit of assistance, like not so much with the first aid and nurturing stuff, but just kind of like, oh my gosh, they've been through a major life change, then perhaps feeling stuck in life, and that they're at a crossroads in their life. They may have come through divorce, loss of family member, but they're kind of coming out of that grieving period, and it's that next phase. So what's I call the transitioning phase, that they're ready to look at what's next and what's possible, but they may not have the tools and information to be able to move forward. So it could be in between jobs, in between homes, in between partners, overcoming an illness. There's this transitional phase, but it's that basically I'm ready to look forwards. So these people, I don't notice, they're ready to come to my workshops to take ownership of and have a look at the patterns that may be holding on to. They're ready to have a look at breaking out of those patterns. They're ready to have a look at letting go of what's not serving them anymore. They're ready to move to the thing that they would like to, but not quite sure how. They're ready to receive new information and tools to help them on the next part of their journey. They're ready to find their own truth. They're ready to basically reshape their life. And they may be a bit wobbly doing that, but there's this transitional phase. So that's the other phase. And again, it's like you don't want to push these people too far, and it's like however comfortable they feel in terms of what they're ready to receive. So there's this group of people and phase that I've noticed, like I said, for myself and as well as other people. And then the other phase is like once that person feels like they've got some tools and they're moving forward, they've taken that step forward and they feel really confident, a bit more confident, and they have basically more enthusiasm for life. They have more enthusiasm for consciously creating their life. They're ready to rather than look inwards, they're ready to contribute outwards. There's this movement of that energy of like, wow, their cup is overflowing. They're ready to share with the world. They want to create stuff. So it's very generative energy. So it's moving from that, oh, I'm not sure, to, I'm going to have a go. I'm going to have a go. I'm open to possibilities. Love is flowing. They're open to kind of more magic in life. So they're kind of in this like thriving conscious creation mode. And like I said, that one can cycle through this like within an hour, quite quickly through the day. Like you'd be like, way, and like quite a roller coaster. And I'll just mention the fourth one. So the fourth area is to note is in story, and that's not a judgment. It's just like you're in your role, you're in the situation. There may be drama in your story, but you got to get on with life. You're getting on with life. You're living your life. You're interacting with people. You're interacting with situations. Some stuff may come up, and so this is really interesting because it's like, what level of consciousness can one be at? So you may be in story and require wellness because you feel like you're being triggered and hurt, and some old hurts can come up, some old trauma can come up, so you require some healing. So you're still, you can be in story and be aware of like, oh my gosh, I need some help. And you can also be in story and have more self-awareness. So you can cycle through these different areas like, I'm in story and like, oh, wait a minute, I've now got a tool. I now have a self-awareness tool. I'm going to take responsibility and use my tools, whatever tools they are. I just mentioned the awareness question choice in another video about, okay, cool, what can I do differently here? And that's empowerment, that empowerment phase. And you want to transition out of the story, the limiting patterns and things you've been telling yourself, and changing the script to something like, oh, okay, now I'm in this story again, this situation's happening again, but I now have a self-awareness and the tools to be able to shift something here. Great. And then you could be in story and really catch yourself and go and consciously create. So you even kind of spot the situation a mile off coming, some people or situations, or your awareness saying, all right, no, before it even maybe happens, you can then consciously reframe the thoughts that may be coming up and go, oh, here I go again. No, I'm going to change that. I'm going to consciously create and reframe my dialogue to go, no, it's going to work out well. This is what I believe. So I just thought I'd mention that to go, okay, where am I at? What do I require more tools and information to help me shift my dialogue, to reframe things in my life so I'm in the driver's seat. And it's okay to, and I mentioned that it can be in the driver's seat because you still can be in the driver's seat when you require wellness, because that's basically taking ownership of your well-being, to go, I do require some assistance, I do require facilitation, I do require help. and I don't want to be stuck in the story. So my story is like, my goodness, my body needs some nurturing, so I will go for sessions. I don't have to push my way through it. There are those that are maybe not wanting to ask for help, because it's like, no, damn it, I'm gonna make it through, and I'm consciously creating my life. But sometimes that requires you to ask for contributions from other people rather than trying to do it all yourself. What else? Do you have any questions on that? So yeah, again, so the areas are wellness, self-awareness, and conscious creation, and in story. Perhaps there's other phases that you may have experienced, but this is what's come out from my findings so far in life, and I find it really useful because it really helps me, one, identify where I'm at, and so I can communicate that with other people. And number two, it's like also how I work with my clients and how I work with people, and identifying like, actually, let's chat about where you're at and just be realistic with what you want to achieve. So there's no point, for example, telling someone, if someone just requires nurturing and first aid, to kind of go, well, you should change your dialogue, because they're not able to receive that. They're not able to receive more information and tools. Maybe not in that particular session, but maybe later. So it's a really good way to basically shape and carve your communications and with people. So it just really helps with maybe not having so many aggravated conversations or heated discussions, or actually because you're speaking from different places. So that's why I found that helpful, just to identify where people are at and how people are feeling. It's like, I'm too wobbly at the moment, I can't speak from this place. Or if I speak from this wobbly place, I'm kind of tired and achy place, it's just going to come out distorted, and then it may aggravate the other person, and they all react like, oh, you're always so grumpy, or da, 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 and it kind of fuels, it can inflame. That conversation can escalate into a place where you may not want it to go. So I hope you found that useful. Let me know in the comments if you feel that you have identified another area of your life or phase of life that you experience. I'd love to hear from you. So I'll see you again later. I'm going to be doing some more videos. Okay, bye.